Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night from wherever you're tuning in, wherever you're listening from. My name is Esther, and I am excited to have you all join in for our second ever Twitter space. So I'm sure a lot of you enjoyed the last one, and I'm really excited we get to be doing this every time. So I'll let my host and co-host take over and introduce our guest, and we'll begin from there. Mr. Justin and Mr. Louis, please take the floor.
Yeah, how's it going, everyone? Pardon me. I'm actually gonna be in a quieter place in the next few minutes, so just welcome everybody to this space here. We got a lot of things to talk about the relationship between gaming and blockchain. It's a beautiful relationship. It's a young relationship. It's kind of already tainted. A lot of rug pulls, a lot of scams, but at the same time, there are some beautiful people developing some great things. So everybody, stick around.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Louis. I'm going to be your co-host for today's space, and yeah, you're welcome to this amazing space by GameStar Exchange. So we would begin officially in 2 minute time, and then we can begin properly. So just hold on. You can share the space on your Twitter, on your socials, invite people to come join and listen, and we would also be doing a giveaway right here in this space. So just take this time to share on your socials. We begin in 2 minute time. Thank you. All right, everybody. You're welcome once again to this space. My name is Louis Whyte Jonah. I'm the co-host for today's space, and I'm also game advocate for GameStar Exchange. I have with me Justin Dacosta, who is also the co-host for this particular space, and we will be having a guest by name Elvis. So I would want GameStar Esther, please can you make Mr. Elvis a speaker?
Yes, I already sent him. We already sent him the speaker application by this link. Just waiting for him to accept and kickstart.
All right, awesome. So, like I said earlier, we will be having some giveaway right in this space, And just feel free to share this space on your socials, on your Twitter, um, your WhatsApp, your Facebook, even on LinkedIn, and invite friends, family, and followers to hop onto the space, right? So, so while we are waiting for that, I would want Mr. Justin. Mr. Justin, please, can you just go up and tell us what you do, who you are, and what GameStar Exchange is, and what GameStar Exchange currently does. Hello, Mr. Justin, are you there? Okay, can anybody hear me?
Yes, we
If you can
can.
hear me, just okay, okay, okay. So while we are waiting for Mr. Elvis and Mr. Justin, Esther, please can you just go ahead and tell us what GameStar Exchange is, what we are currently doing.
Okay, fantastic. Hello everyone. Yes, our speaker finally accepted the invitation. Welcome once again. So basically, for everyone who's new to this page, for everyone who's new to the name, GameStar Exchange is currently and will always be the world's number one leading decentralized P2P trading platform. And you know the best part of it? Today we just officially launched our app, a game changer in the decentralized world, in the blockchain industry, something you have never heard of. But I'll just leave it for you to see later and know what it's all about. It's called Short Trade. You can hop on your Google Play Store right now and download, and you'll be amazed, the amazing features. So basically, we have amazing traders from all over the world who place ads and buy and sell crypto assets, gaming assets, and everything that has to do and that can be sold in the blockchain right on our platform. And the most beautiful part is that rumor has it, and I don't want you to think we're bragging, but we have the most competitive rates in the market. Nobody else can beat our rates because
Just a quick question, Louis. Do we have our guest here today?
yes, he
Elvis, is
has
he here?
accepted invitation. Mr.
Absolutely.
Elvis. Hello, Mr. Elvis. Please, would you like to introduce yourself?
I think we're still waiting
Of
for
course.
a guest.
He has accepted, sir.
Yeah, that's me. Hello,
Okay.
everyone.
Thanks for the patience, guys.
Yeah, that's fine. Hello, everyone. My name is Elvis, Elvis Kolawole by name. I'm a Web3 focused marketer, and I basically tend to run Web3 marketing campaigns for several brands. I host my own Web3 focused podcast. It's called The Money Panda. You could go check it out. I'm also building CryptoCoins VIP, a Web3 focused media platform, and I also curate a Web3 jobs newsletter and so much more in the Web3 space. So I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Elvis. So kicking off, today's session is about the relationship between gaming and blockchain, right? So since two years ago, we've had the blockchain has been there since for quite a while now, and it's been it's called one of the emerging technologies because of its use cases, right? And gaming has been there since ages, but gaming has evolved to something beyond what it used to be, right? So today we will be talking about the relationship between gaming and blockchain and how it affects users, right? We'll be talking about lots of things from the future of gaming and blockchain, the market, and all that, right? So, going further, right, I just want to give a little intro about the both of them, right? So, gaming and blockchain are two different fields, but they've been, in recent years, been intersected with each other, right? Ever since blockchain technology came out, which can be used to create a more secure and transparent environment for players, right? It has become one of the newest models in terms of monetization, right? So one of the main benefits of gaming, of blockchain in gaming, is the ability to provide a decentralized and transparent ledger for all game transactions, right? So I would want Mr. Elvis to tell us what he knows about the blockchain technology, the Web3, and also the game space. Hello, Mr. Elvis.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the gaming space and the blockchain space. And today, one of the founding fathers of DeFi coined a term that a lot of us in the Web3 space use now. It's called GameFi, and the word comes from gaming, and finance. So it's the mashup of those two words that became GameFi. And basically, whenever people say GameFi these days, they actually mean play to earn, which is basically referring to games in which you play in order to earn cryptocurrencies or in order to earn some NFTs. And this has been quite successful so far. One of the biggest NFT collections in terms of trading volume is actually one of these play to earn games. It's pretty popular. It's called Axie Infinity. And there have been so many wonderful projects. There have been entire NFT collections that have, basically done a pivot towards GameFi and offering rewards for playing games. And it's shown that this is one of the ways that, there could be a fruitful relationship between gaming and the blockchain. But just like Justin said earlier, it's not exactly all sunshine and roses. There's been like lots of bumps and bruises along the way. There are lots of projects that don't quite do what they promise, and there seems to be some sort of disconnect between what the gaming industry needs and what the blockchain industry is actually going for. And I believe, we're going to speak a lot about this during this call. So, yeah.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Elvis. So, Mr. Justin, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Okay, okay. So I want to ask you just a few questions. Number one is, how do you see the blockchain and the gaming space? Is it an innovative space? Is it something that that is scalable? Like in your experience, can you just tell us about the blockchain and gaming space?
Yeah, so I've kind of prefaced this with my earlier comments, but yeah, I definitely think it's scalable. I would like to say a couple of key things from my observations. I was looking through some wallets recently, just like I guess like yesterday, and some of these wallets of mine could be hundreds of these items, these different assets, right? And there's no guarantee they're going to have any value in 5 years, tomorrow, in 2 years, in a decade. Who absolutely knows? Like, I don't know. If you look back, what is that guy's name? The influencer guy, this popular guy, Logan Paul. This guy paid people to create a smart contract, and then, well, they essentially rug pulled it. They didn't rug pull exactly. They switched the contract. They migrated to a new contract. A lot of people got left out because they didn't migrate. They didn't know that it was time to migrate. So we've seen this happen too many times. But so I do think there's a lot. It's very scalable. I do believe there's so many different layer ones, layer twos. We look at Starkware, Starknet. That particular layer two is working on a lot of gaming infrastructure. So I do believe that is going to be something that plays a major role in the future for, let's say, like Ethereum gaming, but like gaming on the Ether network. But I think one thing that's necessary, yes, of course, education is always important for people to know what they're getting into. That's kind of a given, right? But it's it's really easy. It's difficult. Sorry, it's difficult to get led astray because there's so many projects out there. You really don't know sometimes which one is should be trustable. So I definitely encourage people, especially in my community, every community I'm involved in, to of course do your own research, read white papers, try to understand the token economics, because that's going to determine a lot. So we look at something like Gala, for example, and there's a lot of inflation for that particular token, but at the same time, they're preparing themselves to have maybe hundreds of games and movies. So some people may think that, yeah, there's a lot of inflation and the token price is going to go down, but as more and more games come out for the platform, I'm speaking specifically about Gala, for example, that inflationary model, the inflation is going to slow down, is all I'm saying about that. So, yes, I do think it's scalable. I do think we'll be onboarding a lot of other people. But I think what's more important than saying play to earn, because we've done that, and a lot of us, myself included, tons of us have made thousands of dollars at least, maybe even more, just kind of just playing games. So and a lot of them are like RNG games too, just like random number generation games. It's not a big deal to make those games. Simple graphics, sometimes not even animated. But we want to think more along the lines of, in my opinion, for something that's more sustainable, is play to own. Elvis touched on it just a moment ago in the sense of playing and earning tokens, but specifically like NFT tokens, ones that you can own and upgrade with like smart NFTs, through there are tons of platforms that use smart NFTs. It could be I know it's a long answer, but there's like Altura on the BNB side maybe, but then there's also what's that, like Engine, and there's another that's just not coming to mind right now. But the point I'm making is they deal with smart NFTs. You can upgrade them just like you would your sword or your skills or whatever have you. You unlock certain parts of the map. All of these things can be transferred into these tokens, right? So I just think it's a matter of, for sustainability, I think it's more a matter of playing to own, not exactly playing to earn, because that model, unfortunately, when you buy in at the floor, yeah, you're feeling good. But if you jump into something, any of these projects in the middle of a bull run at the top of the market, you're not going to see your money. You're not going to see any returns for several years potentially. So I think it's sustainable. I think it's scalable. We just have to be smart about it and not think we're going to like pay our bills off of games just yet, comfortably just yet.
Okay. So you think it's sustainable? Well, okay. Let's see how it goes. Because there are still lots of untold stories that we are yet to see, right? So, Mr. Elvis, now coming from the blockchain space, right? And um, how do you see the future between the gaming and the blockchain? Is it something that would evolve? Because oftentimes, okay, of recent, we've had a huge decline in the crypto space and also in the NFT space, which is one of the major sources of this particular blockchain game. So, what's the future like from your own experience?
You know, something that should be noted about, you know, the gaming industry and the blockchain industry is the fact that both of them are actually new to evolution. Sorry, not new to evolution. They are used to evolution because games require creativity. Creativity requires, having to always evolve ideas, and it's basically that same ethos with the blockchain. So, fun fact, did you all know that Discord was actually initially popular with gamers, and later on, lots of the gaming demographic, lots of marketers thought, oh yeah, the gaming demographic would be receptive to cryptocurrencies, and it turned out to be just that. And that's how today Discord is really popular for cryptocurrencies as well, as aside from gamers. So yes, there will be an evolution, and the evolution is going to like take on so many forms. It's going to take on it's going to happen on the front of gameplay. It's going to take on the form of new earning models. So Justin talked about the play and own, and I, I would say this is a problem right now. A bit of a failure to communicate. The real. incentives or like the exact reason for trying to mesh blockchain technology with gaming. If I was to say, hey, I have a play to earn game, and the play to earn game requires the play to earn game results in somebody eventually earning an NFT. I mean, I would love to think that I absolutely own that NFT, right? Right? I would like to think I actually do own that NFT, right? But then there are projects in which you do get these NFTs, and then through some kind of convoluted, set of circumstances, you just do not own this NFT. That's why you have some publishers, you have some projects that have to um, be specific about the fact that you can play and own, and the fact that you play to earn. For me, I think in the future, um, with regards to earning models, we should be looking towards playing and earning instead of playing to earn or playing to own. And the difference between playing to earn or playing to own and playing and earning is the fact that when a player comes to a game, they're coming there to be entertained. That's the difference in psychology. There's difference in psychology between someone who comes to a project to be entertained, who comes to play a game, and somebody who comes into a project to earn. Somebody who comes to be entertained is likely to come again and again if they're actually really entertained. And then if you have the earning model as a bonus on top of a game that actually delivers valuable entertainment, that's something that's really sustainable in the long term versus you have a game in which somebody is primarily there to earn, because if somebody is in a game to earn, when we have bear markets like we've had the last few quarters where you have NFTs going to nothing, you have like the value of tokens slashing by 50% or even more, the incentive to go there and earn is defeated. So that eventually strains the player base of such a game and such a project. But then, if you have people who are coming to play and earning is just a bonus, I think that's something far more um, sustainable and long term. And then, as regards the blockchain itself and gaming, I'll say something that the blockchain really um, does do very well is provide a means for real authentication. So when you're able to authenticate players on the game, it reduces stuff like bullying on the game. It reduces a lot of problems that are not necessarily there when you can't quite authenticate people on the game. So this is the way I see the relationship between gaming and blockchain evolving in the near future.
Okay, so do you think the blockchain technology can help address some of the gaming challenges we have in the industry today?
Absolutely, absolutely. So there are quite a lot of problems within the gaming industry. Anyone who's actually played, for lack of a better word, in that industry understands like some of the more pressing issues. Number one, I would say lots of games, the gaming industry, it's an industry that's built on what I would call moonshots. When a gaming studio releases a game, it's most likely one of a couple of games, and out of say every 5 games, say 4 games tend to be a flop, and then it's just one game that tends to be on the lips of everyone. For example, for every Grand Theft Auto, for every Call of Duty, there are like numerous failures. And I think to reduce the likelihood of that, um, gaming companies could most likely rely on the rich data that comes from the blockchain. The blockchain is a ledger that can record transactions and can record much, much more. so many subsets of human behaviors in a way that's very transparent. And I trust that in the near future, gaming studios are definitely going to rely on that data to produce more moonshots, more Grand Theft Autos, more FIFAs, and less, flops. And I think something else it can help do is reduce piracy, which is a big problem usually in any entertainment industry, and gaming is no exception to that. So when you have the blockchain able to authenticate ownership and authenticate access to a game, you have less piracy, and that's something. Authentication is something that the blockchain is really good at. And of course, for transparency, if a gaming studio, wanted transparency in building process or anything else, the blockchain is awesome for that. So I think that's how blockchain could possibly help gaming industry.
Okay, so thank you, Elvis. So, Mr. Justin, back to you. So, I would still ask you the same question. Do you think the blockchain technology can address most of the industry challenges in the game space?
Okay, so I would say it really depends on what angle you're coming from. Are you looking from a developer's perspective? Are we looking from a gamer's perspective? Are we looking from publisher perspective or the platform, whether it be Steam or, Google Play, whatever have you. So there are multiple angles to look at it from. So for me, as a gamer, and like I would say personally, I don't personally feel like I faced any major challenges as a game player. I'll tell you what, one of the major challenges I faced with gaming, it's actually kind of petty in some way, but it's really just games having to be patched and updated, which I didn't really experience much because I'm not really like an Xbox or PlayStation gamer too tough. And I say that because, from Xbox 360 up to whatever they have now, I don't even know what they have now. I mean, I do, but I don't own one, but I just don't know what's up with the patches. I never liked that. I didn't grow up playing games that had to be patched. So that is something that blockchains can't necessarily do with in any way. Um, I do like the fact with the GameFi subject or the game, just the gaming financial combination there. I like the fact that, as Elvis said, the ledger blockchains will document, store, or record all actions. So that way, gamers can understand how the game economy is actually being built. Gamers, if they wish, not everybody's going to do it. Most people will not. Some people, most, I would say, just a random guess that the average person doesn't know how to read a transaction record or hash. Just they wouldn't know what to look for. But if you dive into blockchain explorers and you just click through the tabs, there's so many things you can do. Whether it be like minting an NFT on the back end like that, you don't necessarily have to go on the front side and like click the mint button and connect your wallet. Like you can, but you can connect it to the Explorer to do different things. But the reason why I'm mentioning that is just because you could see where the money flow is. You could see how the money's being generated. There's an element of transparency. So again, for me personally, I can't really say that I experienced many quote unquote, let's say, problems in gaming, like bullying and all that type of stuff. Like personally, I don't care, bully me all you want. I'll just have to get better. Like everybody will approach that a little differently. I'm not really too concerned about anybody like shouting obscenities in the microphone, trying to get me angry or using derogatory words and stuff. Like personally, I don't care about that type of experience for myself if that happens because it's gaming, it's competitive, and now by nature, I think maybe even competition is kind of evil in its own way. So I'm not really I know I'm touching on some things that everybody's really super interested in, but I'm not really too much into the competition thing, even though in some way I'm competitive, but more competitive with myself. So I'm pushing myself to get better. I guess for me, I've had minimal amounts of issues. Now, my final thing where I could say the biggest issue I've had with gaming is mobile games, and mobile games that essentially rug pull. You know, I said it last time. It's probably my only biggest issue. I never really had big issues with games, kind of in general, because when you have a cartridge or you have a CD or disc, whichever way, a DVD, HD, DVD, Blu-ray, whatever you're putting into your console, you don't need the internet to play the game. So even if the servers are down for the online play, you should typically be able to still play the game. So I like the fact that NFTs kind of resolve the issue of you building up high scores, you building up your characters in whatever game you're playing, and the game company decides that we're going to kind of pull these servers because we don't have enough users and we're not generating enough money. Now your gaming assets are gone with it. At least it's not necessarily like the most potentially it's not necessarily the most useful thing to have, but at least with blockchain games you would ideally still have the ownership of the NFT, the virtual ownership of this NFT in your wallet, even if the game is completely gone, even if they took the images off of IPFS, or if they changed them to like pictures of, I don't know, feet, like whatever it is, at least there's still a record that you own it. And that item, that digital address, I suppose, kind of could be, I don't want to say like a relic. It could be something, it could be a treasure, it could be a collector's item. It's like it's an address. It's just a series of, letters and numbers essentially, but it represents ownership of something that unfortunately for games that you played on your mobile where the company decided that it's kind of done, those assets are gone. The blockchain at least gives you the potential to hold on to something that may have value over time. And of course, the whole idea of value is all subjective because if it's valuable to me, it's useful and valuable to me, then it's an asset. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be useful and valuable to you. So, this is one thing about gaming and kind of the whole quote unquote like decentralized thing is that we want, not that we want to in the sense of it's probably in our best interest to build communities so people out there will see the value in those assets that you have. Now I want everybody to check the pinned comment. You'll notice it says join our Twitter space now to win amazing rewards, guys. Retweet this. I only see one retweet, so it looks like one person's winning so far, right? So we want to do a couple of giveaways now for just to give a clear breakdown, just a quick breakdown of what we're going to do. For anybody who comes through as selected as a winner, we'll choose some winners a little bit later. I see another one. Let's get a couple of more retweets so we can get some more people to join the space. And the Twitter, yep, okay, just making sure that the space is there, is linked. So we want to do some giveaways at least. And what we want to do is welcome people to use the GameStar Exchange application. And that way you will actually be able to redeem your GameStar gift card that we will be giving out as rewards. So in two ways. One way, you'll be able to, win a little, let's say like USDT, for example. And in another way, you'll also get a walkthrough of the GameStar Exchange platform. So it's kind of like a two-pronged reward in a sense, especially for some of the people listening now who may not have ever used GameStar Exchange or who may not know how to set up a Web3 wallet, an EVM wallet in this particular case, something like MetaMask or Trust Wallet or whatever it may be. So it might be like a triple a triple benefit for those who win, right? So thank you everyone. All right, so it looks like everybody's retweeting the room now. That's good. It's retweeting the space. Just retweet that space. Let's get this up to at least I don't know, 10. I see 6 people. So, and we got some comments. Tag a friend, guys. Let a friend know. Share the space. I keep, I don't want to overdo it, but share the space. Let's get some more people in here. I think we've got about 15 or 10 or 15 people. Let's get some unfamiliar faces here and let's see if we can take this to another level. Louis, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Justin. So now, Mr. Elvis, one of the most important use case in the blockchain happens to be the cryptocurrency, right? And from your expertise, what is the role of cryptocurrency in gaming? Like, what role does it really play in gaming? Is it just a force, or like, can you just explain with your from your experience?
Well, um, I would say it's pretty much like we just mentioned.
Maybe Elvis got rug
Ba-
pulled. I don't know.
Absolutely. I think it's really hard to be in this space for a while and not get rug pulled at least once. Yeah, and for cryptocurrencies not to,
Elvis, are you there? Did you get rugged?
Oh, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah. We can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely. But that was a long time ago, or it feels like a
Yeah, I
long
can't
time
hear
ago.
Elvis.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Anyways,
Yeah,
so
just go
yeah, I
on.
was saying, okay, so I was saying, yeah, absolutely, yeah, definitely got rug pulled once, and that was a long time ago. I think it's about a year ago. But anyway, I think definitely right now the role of cryptocurrencies are basically just an earning mechanism and an incentive to play. And on another level, you could also look at cryptocurrencies as an avenue for fundraising and a bit of an unbacked security, if you'll call it that, because that's really what a lot of projects do. It's more or less an unbacked security to raise funding for the development of the game. And, because gaming is quite an expensive industry, it's quite expensive to make quality games. So they use cryptocurrencies, they issue cryptocurrency tokens to try and raise funds. And then in turn, some other cryptocurrencies could possibly be won by people who engage with the game in some way. And that's more or less how people use cryptocurrency. And yes, cryptocurrency sometimes could be used to buy collectibles within the games, and that could be NFTs that represent some sort of collectible within the game. It could be a skin, it could be unlocking new game levels, it could be new. Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah. So you talked about investment while you were talking about the cryptocurrency thing. So, are there projects, crypto gaming, blockchain gaming projects that you're aware of that you can suggest we invest in to get a good ROI?
No, no.
Good luck with that
And
one.
right? I mean, thinking about that is oh man, it brings up a lot of questions in my mind. But okay, um, so I'll say one I am personally a fan of, and I'll tell you some reasons why. One I'm personally a fan of is one called So Rare. It's basically a fantasy football game. I don't know if Louis, if you're aware of fantasy football, or if you're aware of, FPL, whatever. Are you aware of stuff like that?
Yeah, I'm only aware of FPL.
Okay, so this is like FPL, but then you have rewards in crypto and NFTs. I think I think no, I think there are NFTs. Yeah, I think it's only NFTs, but I think there's now a crypto um I think there's a crypto side to it. I'm not quite sure right now. But anyway, So Rare, it's SORERARE. So it's basically a fantasy game, and you can basically select any players you know from all over the world, and you can basically assemble teams, and then based off of their performance, that's how you get to win, just like in a regular fantasy game. I'll say I kind of like this because one, it plays on a format which is already well established, which is the fantasy football format, and it's licensed by FIFPro, which is the organization for from the football players around the world. And I'll say that it's kind of, and it's also affiliated with lots of clubs. I think it's affiliated with the Syria or something. So I would say it has more or less a solid baseline game around it, and I think the NFTs should last for a long time because a lot of them tend to be um, tied to players who already exist, real superstar players, the likes of, you know, you can name your superstars, Kylian Mbappe, Lionel Messi, whatever. They're actual football stars you can attach to some of these NFTs. So I feel it might have some long-term potential in there. But then, like Justin would tell you, please do your own research. Please do your own research. Go ahead and check out its white papers. Go ahead, check out its tokenomics. Go ahead, check out its social media presence. Go ahead and check out its partnerships, like I just talked about. Because I think for me, one of the reasons I do like it is the partnerships that it has going on, and the fact that it's on an established gaming genre. So yeah, I think that might be one that sort of stands out for me. But then I would encourage you to do research, please. Yeah.
Okay, okay. I will. So, asking for the users. Also, if you have any question to ask, please just request to speak, and you will be given access to speak. You can go ahead and ask your question. So, if you have any question regarding blockchain, regarding gaming, regarding both of them, even cryptos, you're free to ask. Right. So, just make a request, and that will be granted. Now, talking from the coming from the angle of a a regular user that wants to make money, right? So there's this buzz about the biggest buzz in blockchain gaming is GameFi, right? Which most persons sell the idea of you play and you earn, you play to earn, play to own, and all that. Now, coming from the angle, that particular angle. Now, what, Mr. Justin, to you now, do you have games you can suggest that somebody can play to earn? Because from my experience in the game space, there are lots of projects and lots of games that we've seen in the space that they come up with the whole idea of play to earn, but in essence, they are not really doing that, right? So, how can we identify such projects, and what's the best way to go about it, earning while playing? Mr. Justin.
You're throwing loaded questions, right? So I can't, guys. I would say the best thing to do. I don't want to repeat myself too much, but definitely, please, DYOR. Okay, that's one key thing that you can't underestimate the power of you doing your own research and building your own investment thesis. That's just you have to kind of figure that out on your own. But at the same time, yes, you can follow people, various influencers, people like myself or whoever, we do research on maybe 10 or 20 projects every week, sometimes maybe more every day. It just really depends on the day or in the week, right? So I go through a lot of projects, and I will tell you right now, I can't actually think of one that I could say you can hold and play, collect the assets, play the game, the token, the NFTs, whatever, for 4 years. So let's just say we're looking at more or less like a full Bitcoin cycle. I can't find one that I would recommend to hold for 4 years. Obviously, we're not giving any financial advice, so there's no like, that's not the point here with the subject. It's more about what are some good games that are sustainable. There are
I
very few,
fully
and I would probably
understand.
say there are none right now. I don't want to say that there are literally none, but I would, if I had to choose lots or none, the answer is zero. Okay, so get in early, play it and enjoy it if you enjoy it. But the key is to get in early, unless it's like some of these games where, like I said, you play it and you get the reward of an NFT. So it doesn't matter whether you play it at the top of the cycle where the prices are up, or whether you're playing at the bottom and you're like an early adopter. If the playing field is even in the sense that you play 100 hours and you get this reward, and I play 100 hours and I get this reward, then cool, like, you should be fine. But I would say more or less get in early. There are some games that I'm into, let's say Ancient Society. That's on the Polygon Matic side. That one, we've got some people that are really interested in about it. I've spoken about it a little bit, but I don't I don't talk about it too much because I don't want people to get wrecked because it's a token based thing. You got to purchase everything in the native ancient token. And what happens, unfortunately, is that if I buy a farm today, or if I buy some, some wood or some iron or whatever it is I'm buying today, maybe it costs, 100 token, whatever the token is. Now the token now it costs 1 penny, but in 5 months the token might cost 20 cents. That's 20 times the price. So I could be buying a farm for, let's say, 25 USD, and then you're buying a farm for 30 times that. So getting in early is best. Of course, doing your own research, as we said already, is the number one thing. So you do your own research, you realize that you're late, okay, or you're early. And sometimes when I'm early for things like some of the, if I have to put it like this, some of the 100x cryptos that I've called, yeah, I got into those very early, and they went to hundreds of dollars, or I got into them when they were pennies and they went up to tens of dollars. So getting in early means that you're doing your own research. Because if you got in when somebody else told you about it, they probably already got in. Not everybody's so kind to tell you stuff, tell you about projects that they're getting in, that they want to get into. No, most people are in it, they already have their position, and they're telling you about it after. So whether they're doing it deliberately or not, they're still, you coming in late, you're still helping to pump somebody else's bags, as we like to say, pump your bags, right? So guys, all I can say is do your own research, look at different blockchains. Gaming, there are blockchain specific gaming specific blockchains. So check out some of those. I already mentioned Gala. I mentioned Engine. I mean, there are so many, right? You just kind of have to again do your own research. I'd say very rarely would I rely on any, let's say, influencer. Guys, I don't even like that word, but okay, whatever. Very rarely would I rely on an influencer to um like to kind of give me the courage to do something. I don't know. I'm just too very daring and very risk taking. But guys, this is like risk. These are risk on assets that we're talking about. All these cryptos, whether it's Matic or Optimism or Coinbase's base layer, whatever they're calling. All of these are risky. Bitcoin's risky. It's all risky, right? So if you're gonna put in risk, think about who is giving you the courage to put yourself into a risky position. Somebody on YouTube or TikTok or something like that. For me, no way. I do my own research every
Late.
time.
By the time it gets to influencers, probably too late.
Well,
That's
first of
usually a
all,
rule of
most
thumb
influencers
for
get
me.
paid. Yeah, well, most influencers get paid to influence. They get paid. Why? Think to yourself. Again, not everybody's so kind-hearted to do this. Like I might share a lot of information and alpha for free just because I want people to win. Not everybody's like that, okay? Not everybody's. A lot of these influencers that you see, guys, are getting paid. I get offers every day, every single day. I know that's an exaggeration. Every week, I'll pay you this much to do this. I'll give you this much. We'll give you this many tokens. I don't want your tokens, guys. Like I don't want them. Yes, of course I want them. I want the money, but at the expense of what? My integrity, my channel, my community, my name? No, 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 no. If I wanted to, I could make thousands or hundreds of dollars every day, every week, just from like talking about somebody else's work. I'm not that guy. No way. I can't. I couldn't be relying on somebody else's work to make myself, a better person. Not happening.
Okay, understood. So I think we have somebody else that wants to ask a question. Zubi, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, okay. Please
Okay.
just go ahead with your question.
Okay. Question is I if I'm holding an NFT token, an NFT token, right? Okay, let's say this token is a Pokemon. Like this NFT is a Pokemon. Sorry for using token. But this NFT is a Pokemon, and maybe I've been using this Pokemon in a game in a gaming platform, and maybe that platform crashes, right? Can I still use that NFT in another gaming platform? Like, will it still be allowed? my live gaming platform, or did I just lost that on it?
You know what? Personally, I
Okay.
didn't hear the question very clearly. Maybe you heard the question, Louis, so maybe you can
Okay.
restate it.
Let me repeat what he said. So he said, for example, if he's playing, let's say, a Pokemon Go, and he has already gathered assets, NFT Pokemon on that particular game project, and peradventure the platform goes down, right, and he still has his own NFT that he got from that particular game. So his question is, can he use that in another project?
Okay, so yeah, so that kind of goes with what I was saying. Thanks for the question as well. That kind of goes with what I was saying a little earlier. The idea that even if the companies kind of take down the servers, they remove the game and is no longer live online, if you have your self-custodial wallet, as in you connect your wallet to the game, or when you play the game, you are given, you create a password and you get a seed phrase, maybe 12 or 24 characters or words, for example, that is your wallet. That's not the game's wallet. But if like Pokemon Go, those are not yours, of course. Those are not yours at all, right? None of those items are yours when you're playing any of the games, any basketball, football, tennis, I don't, racing, it doesn't matter, Street Fighter, those are not your characters, right? They're not your games, especially if you're loading the game, the app. Oh my goodness. I'm not talking about putting a disc in a drive or a cartridge in a slot. If you're loading an app and you do not have a seed phrase, like you would if you open up a wallet, like a Web3 wallet, then yeah, no, those assets are not yours and they're gone. Now, to answer the question further, the other part of it, to me, is the idea of whether you can use the assets in a different game. The answer is definitely yes. It just depends on the game. So I'll give you an example. Um, if you look at the meta key, okay, if you look at the meta key, I'm definitely a collector of meta keys, but those meta keys kind of grant you various use cases in different games. Okay, so I would definitely just kind of recommend people just kind of take a look at the MetaKey. I think it's an interesting project. No, I'm not paid by the MetaKey in any way. I'm just letting you know. Check it out. So yeah, they can be used. It's just a matter of whether there's some way to integrate the smart contract in the game and partnerships and collaborations. Guys, this is also part of the whole community idea. So if you wanted your assets to be available to be used in another game, for example, then absolutely, people join communities. They make themselves be known. They make their ideas be known by voting in DAOs or decentralized autonomous organizations. You make it be known. And there are games that I've played that I don't play them, but I have played where, yeah, you can use in this particular metaverse, you have a hat that can be worn in this metaverse and other metaverses. Like I said, it's a matter of them integrating the smart contract and as well, maybe even the community kind of showing their interest in that partnership taking place. So, personally, yes, in closing on that comment for me, I would definitely love to see more integration, more partnerships so that we can have assets that are cross game and cross chain, cross ecosystem interoperable gaming assets. I think is going to be huge. So I think, for example, I know I said finally, but one more quick point: something like Polkadot or Cosmos, um, those assets, a lot of those assets in their games coming in the future, and NFTs and stuff, they're going to be interoperable between different blockchains and between most likely different protocols and different games. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Thanks for the question.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Justin. So, wrapping up, um, we've been talking about the goodies surrounding the blockchain and the gaming space, right? So I really want to know the limitations of using the blockchain technology. Surely, most things that exist on Earth has always have disadvantages, and most persons don't really look at the disadvantages in these particular spaces or in things like this. So, Mr. Elvis, so are there any potential drawbacks or limitations to using the blockchain technology in gaming?
Oh wow. Absolutely, absolutely. I am a fan, of course, but absolutely there are drawbacks. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
you're
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
I
You're
can
good.
hear.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, yeah, absolutely. There are drawbacks. The number one drawback for me is simple. Um, the fact that the games do not do the primary function that most games are created to serve, which is entertain. When most people have games on the blockchain and they create this earning incentive, the incentive changes from trying to play a game to be enjoyed to playing a game to earn. And there are like very different psychologies. In traditional gaming, if you remember, say if you had a PlayStation or Xbox or whatever, you bought a game or you bought access to a game, and what you did buy was access to be entertained. When you wanted to play FIFA, you bought the console, you bought the disc or whatever, and you bought it to be entertained with your friends and to, have bragging rights and to play the game that you want to enjoy. Now, when you have a game that exists to earn, it changes the incentives on both the player side and on both the developer side. Now, it number one, on the player side, you go in there expecting to earn, and then whenever your potential for earning is lost, that removes your interest from the game, and that automatically whenever you're going into something to earn, you treat it more or less like a job. And, not a lot of people have a favorable psychological reaction towards their jobs, right? And so that results in people not exactly having the same emotional attachment to these games, and it results in a shorter life cycle for people playing these games. And then on the developer side, it makes them incentivized to create games, not games that are necessarily entertaining, games that have um, high quality when it comes to, the storyline, the gameplay. No, they create games that are made for as many people to come in as much as possible and as many people as possible to take actions that are going to either pump the value of the NFT or pump the value of the underlying token. And so, of course, you can always either optimize for a game that people will enjoy or games that are going to eventually help you make money. And most studios eventually opt for games that help them make money. Some of them do claim that, hey, they're going to create games that you're going to enjoy and you're going to make money. But the truth is, due to human nature and due to, of course, pressure from investors and all that, most gaming studios eventually try to optimize for games that try to make them money, and then that's how you see games that don't exactly have a long shelf life. It's just one of the reasons why, like Justin said, you could look at lots of projects out there in the market right now, and you could easily not see a lot that could last, say, a 4-year cycle. You can easily it's very difficult to like confidently say beat your chest and see games that can last for 4 years in the minds of consumers, because these games are jobs and then the psychology is really different. So that's a limitation on both sides, I would argue, on the blockchain side and on the gaming side. And then the second big limitation I would say is the fact that there is a bit of a privacy issue. From where I come from, third world, I'm from Nigeria. I wouldn't say lots of us are very concerned with privacy, but I would say in lots of first world countries, people are pretty concerned about privacy. And so when you have a game in which, you have to log into the game using a wallet, and then you have to be given rewards via a wallet that is very publicly available, that same wallet can be assessed, the activity of that wallet can pretty much be assessed by anyone. And so, in the course of trying to play a game to be entertained, you open up yourself to the transparency, in quote, that blockchains provide. And I think that's not something a lot of people are willing to stomach. I think a lot of people prefer their privacy. They prefer to be some random guy buying a game, playing their games, sometimes even offline, in a manner in which, okay, nobody knows who you are, nobody knows what you're doing, nobody knows you're spending $100. For example, if it's some sort of a game that, say, a player is not exactly proud to play. Say, for example, if it's a game that has adult adult inspired footage or something, not everyone would want to be associated with playing such a game, but because it's there on the blockchain for everyone to see, they can see that you're interacting with wallets that are associated with a game um, that has adult leanings, and then your privacy is more or less violated. So I'll say the tendency to make bad games and privacy concerns, those are like um, big drawbacks um, to the relationship between blockchain and gaming.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that was really nice. You talked about the psychology of the whole game thing, playing game, the
Sorry, I think we're
users
losing you.
generally.
Yeah, Louis, you want to restate your question because you did cut out a little.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay. Sorry.
yeah, please.
So, okay,
Yeah, I also can't hear you now, so
Oh
maybe I'm the only
my,
one.
I really can't hear you. Oh, I thought it
you
was
made
just
mention
me.
of the psychology of the whole
Yeah, no, I can't hear.
itself.
So maybe
Hi, Louis.
Louis, you want to start again? Sorry, you were cutting out again.
I'm sorry. I honestly still can't hear a thing. I don't know if it's just me.
Okay. No, no, it's not just you. Maybe Louis, maybe you want to reconnect. Um, but that's okay. I'll take this time, I'll take this moment to just remind everybody. Thanks guys for checking this out. Of course, thank you for coming into this space. Thank you for retweeting the space. I definitely would encourage anybody who's new to the space, come through. How can gaming connected to blockchain? Oh, it's a question. How can gaming be connected to blockchain? Okay. Um, I think we've answered the question, which is okay, but we can kind of talk about that again. Um, Elvis, do you want to touch on that one just for the time being as I look through and see how we can help Louis get connected again? There's a question as you see up top. How can gaming be connected to blockchain?
Okay, sure. Like I said previously, today, gaming can be connected to the blockchain through financial incentives, and basically, it's created this marriage between gaming and blockchain or crypto specifically, that's called GameFi. It's a word, it's game and fi, and it's gotten from gaming and finance, the merger between gaming and finance. So basically, the main association with gaming and the blockchain is through incentivizing people to play games to earn. And most people in the GameFi space, most people go into games to earn cryptocurrencies or to earn NFTs. And the other way in which GameFi is connected to, sorry, the other way in which gaming is connected to the blockchain is through authentication of users and, of course, access to these games. There are people can now gain access, secure access to games through their wallets, through their non-custodial wallets, and yeah, and that opens up a whole kind of worm of issues and of course some benefits like we've already touched on so far. So yeah, so that's the relationship between blockchain and gaming.
Right. So I'm not sure if we have Louis back, which is too bad. That's okay, I guess. We don't have him here. That's fine. Louis, see if you can see if you can reconnect and touch back with us. I feel like you had something kind of important to say. But yeah, everyone, I want to in the meantime, while we, of course, while we wait for Louis to get back in, I do want to point everybody's direction to one of the most recent tweets that has been made from this account. Actually, it's pinned to the top right now. Ladies and gentlemen, the app you've been waiting for is here. Okay, so take a look at that. Give yourselves a moment to read that through. Essentially, right on your on Google Play, coming soon to the Apple, the iTunes or not iTunes, sorry, the App Store, Apple App Store. You'll be able to download SureTrade. So I definitely want everybody that's in this chat right now who has an Android device, as long as it doesn't destroy your connection or something, hit go to the App Store, type in Sure Trade or Google Play Store, type in Sure Trade, download Sure Trade, give it a 5-star review, because this is essentially an extension of GameStar. Okay, this is an extension of what we're doing with GameStar. There's a lot going on, guys. I want you to know um, that this is a bear market, and we are still building in the bear market. A lot of people are not a lot of people, a lot of projects, guys. This is another part, kind of going back to answer the previous questions or discussions that we've been having about what projects can you trust. If they're still building and the money's not coming in, then that is probably one you can consider trusting. That's all I'm saying. It's not advice of any sort. You still have to do a lot of research on your own. But if a company is not making a lot of money and the users aren't coming in and the token's not flying and the price is still dropping, but they're still building and they're still coming up with products, that is something you may want to consider, right? Because you could be buying into that particular project at the bottom when nobody realizes that they're still building. So do your own research. But back to the quick point that I'm making before I think we got Louis back. So before we kind of give it pass it to Louis, check it out. Sure Trade. As a matter of fact, Louis has a major responsibility, a major role in the production of this Sure Trade app. What you're seeing, maybe as a matter of fact, Louis, if you're connected, maybe you want to speak about what influence or what impact you had on the Sure Trade app.
Okay, good day. Apologies for that. Had little network glitch. So yeah, about short trade. Uh, yeah, short trade is it's a beautiful project I was privileged to work on. I'm still working on it, and yeah, so I don't think it's quite okay for me to go. I don't know. Is it okay for me to go quite detail about it?
Go in, however deep you want to go. It's up to you.
Okay, okay. So, like I said, GameStar just launched an app on the store. The version one of Shell Trade, which is an app to get digital assets like your gift cards and all that, trading of crypto and all that, right? So I've been working on the development part of it, preferably from the part of the user experience and also little of the UI, right? And it has been a wonderful experience. So I can tell you that from my experience, I've had like 5 years experience in the mobile app development thing, and this is one of my biggest project because it has lots of potentials. And funny enough, it's that particular project where you don't get to see a similarity in the market, right? Starting with the onboarding process, starting with how you get to trade, starting with how you get to sell and get your gift card and all that. So it's quite different from the normal casual way which we do things. The whole idea is to make it very seamless for the users, and also putting it in the decentralized space, right? So just go to the Play Store, download it and check it out. If you want to exchange your gift card, you can also tell your friends about it. This is just the version one, right? We are still working on the version two, which would be up shortly to correct some of the bugs you might find if you see, right? So yeah, so just go on Play Store, download it, and if you want to make your connect with your wallet, and you're good to go. Few Let's say in the short while we would be releasing our version 2 to enhance with more features on it, right? So just go on Play Store, you can tell your friends about it. We would actually make an official announcement. And for those of us that are iOS users, and please just be patient a little while, we would have the iOS version up and running in less than 24 hours or so, right? So yeah, that's for short trade. Now, wrapping up, I'll be talking about trying to wrap up this particular session. It has been quite an informative session from coming from me personally. Like I said, I've been in the game space for quite a while now, and this is really the game. The blockchain has been a buzzword flying everywhere. The gaming has been there, and currently, just like Mr. Elvis said, it's always it's that adaptive space that normally gets inclined with the latest technology, right? We had blockchain, gaming was there, gaming came, blockchain was added to it. Now this year we are seeing lots of AIs, and gaming is also part of it. The blockchain is there, AI is there. So just imagine a space where you have lots of these AI features in the game and lots of the blockchain feature in the game. So the game is that particular space that to me is one of the most futuristic, and something that will stay that will stay and will always evolve, right? So if you're not part of the gaming community, you can join either by different ways, either by developer, by investor, by investing, right, by gaming. So the part of gaming is called esports, right? Okay, the game space is divided into two space. We have the game space and the gaming space, right? The game space has to do with people that are developing the games, right? We have the developers; they're all in the game space. While we have the gaming space, which has to do with people that are playing these games, right? You can also play to earn. You can also earn as a gamer, and there are lots of people earn livings, earn up to 60K dollars per year just by playing games, right? Now, when Mr. Evis was talking about the potential drawbacks of using blockchain in the gaming space. He talked about the how play to earn affects the conscience of users. Now, my question was supposed to be directed to Mr. Justin before I was cut off. Now, um, talking about competitive gaming, what role do you think the blockchain technology will play in the future in terms of competitive gaming?
Oh,
Right? Because when Mr. Elvis talked about that, I was like, okay, okay. So for people that wants to go into the gaming space by playing these games, so what role does the blockchain technology play in the future?
right. So I think one of the major parts is the immutability of the blockchain. So your records, whatever you've accomplished is essentially going to be recorded. It can't be changed, it can't be edited, it can't be duplicated in any particular way that's meaningful. So I suppose that's one aspect I would say. Just it kind of makes it clear to see what people are doing, and that is clearly if these are transaction based quests or whatever it may be. As long as there's like a transaction that is required for you to approve or to approve essentially in your wallet, then yeah, that will help in the sense of keeping the data clear. Everybody can see the leaderboards. You don't have to wait for anybody to update things. Um, you can there's no like mixing up identities or anything like that. It's clear to see that this wallet has done this particular action. And then, of course, if we'd have to kind of connect the physical, the real in real like the person, their identity with the wallet that's associated, if it if that's relevant in any way. So to me, I think that would be one way. Um, Also, the fact that I think as long as it's on the right chain. Okay, personally, like I'm not really the biggest fan of like free to play games because they're not really they're free to play, but they're oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes, you know, pay to win, or if you don't if or grind to have a chance at even doing anything. So you if you choose not to buy anything, then you're gonna have to grind for a lot of hours to even make what somebody else just bought for $10. I know maybe it doesn't really go exactly like that, but I'm just trying to paint the idea that nothing comes for free. So even if it's a blockchain and it costs a penny to do transactions, I personally think it's reasonable for a team to spend their time finding investors, finding developers, artists, designers, and whatever have you to create a game, to publish the game, to market the game, and to actually ask for some money in return. I don't think it's unrealistic. Otherwise, you have people dealing with subsidies, and you have people then influencing what content you can create based on what they want to invest in. So now for us who are pirating games back in a certain time, to now us getting free to play games, guys, like we're also narrowing the scope of the narrowing um the style of games and the amount of, not so much the amount, but the type of games that we're going to get. We're narrowing that by demanding free content, or demanding or not playing games, or pirating games, whether you're duplicating games, downloading games, whatever have you, for free. And it's not a bad, like, it's bad, it's cool, it's great for you because you saved $10 or $100. That's cool, but in one way we're actually kind of ruining it for ourselves at the same time. So I think the blockchain, um, if it does require transactions that do cost something, whether it be again like 1 cent or whatever have you, then I do think it will encourage people to play the things that they actually want to play. And it can also give companies a chance to develop games that they really truly want to develop, even if whether they're going to be, um, like obviously they want the games to be popular, but again, if we keep doing the free thing and everything's free, 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 guys, the games, in my opinion, it's just really just an opinion, right? But in my opinion, we're really kind of slowly ruining what variety of games we could be presented with, by giving the understanding that we only want free games, giving the understanding that we're going to be duplicating the disc or the cartridge or whatever it is, or just downloading it and burning it like we used to do in previous consoles like Sega Dreamcast. That thing got destroyed. And that may have just been the idea that it was Windows operating system, because we could just duplicate games back in 1999. I was like, well, maybe it didn't start so early, but I mean, the console was released, what, September 9th, 1999. We may not have gotten the pirated software and like the ROM, the booting discs and stuff like that until like a year later, whatever year. But once you could start pirating games for Sega Dreamcast, for example, it's over. There's like it's done. Like the game console is going to be it just can't survive in that type of economy. So, to kind of close up on that, I think it's completely fine to ask people to buy NFTs. There's one thing I would say though about NFTs that I do have an issue with, is when you have to buy NFTs in the token that fluctuates in value. I think that's a huge problem. So, like I was saying earlier, getting in early typically means that you're in a good position. But if you have a game where you buy assets in, for example, USDC or something of that nature, then yeah, it's going to be $5 whether you started a year ago, or $5 if you start in next year. I think that also helps a bit. So, um, blockchains have a lot of ways to go, and I think people want to make money first. So just be very careful of what you invest in. Try to be early. I know that's kind of a different subject, but yeah, that's my thoughts. Those are my thoughts on that.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Justin. That was very, really, really informative. So back to what? Okay, when we started this space, we talked about having giveaways to some persons, and we will be giving out gift cards to two persons that have been very consistent in sharing this space by retweeting and all that. So the first person on the list is Natashi. Natashi, yes. So we have Natashi. Yeah, he's still here, and we have Ilya. I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrongly. Ilya and Natashi. I don't know if it's Leah or Ilya and Natashi. So both of you just won gift cards. Courtesy of GameStar Exchange. And now what will happen is we GameStar Exchange would a representative from GameStar Exchange would send you a DM shortly on how to redeem your gift card on the GameStar platform, or you can redeem from the Short Trade app. So all you need to do is go to Play Store, download the Short Trade app, and somebody will put you through on how to redeem your gift card to um, cash, depending on the country you're in. So yeah, congrats once again, Natashi and Ilya or Leah. So wrapping up, I think we are done. Yeah. So since there are no more questions, I would want let's start with Mr. Elvis to just give us like a wrap up of everything he has said so far, do's and don'ts of whatever we need to know, we should know, the users and everybody listening on this particular space. Then Mr. Justin would follow. Okay, over to you, Mr. Elvis.
All right, thank you, Louis. Yeah, I think all that could be said has more or less been said. I think, as regards do's and don'ts, of course, a do is, of course, try to get in early. You know, easier said than done. Um, in investor speak, if you're an investor, I would say that it's usually hard to time the market. It it's usually better to follow the market, but then everyone always tries to time the market, and you know that's basically what we're referring to as getting early. You research a project and you see if they're very early in their marketing, they're early in their development, and they have like lots of exciting things in the pipeline, and you can vouch for the founders that they can follow through and you know and follow through on the things they have in their roadmap. And you never know, you might be on to your next 10x, 100x profit on a project. But then also I want to say, you know, the blockchain and gaming can be mutually exclusive. You can't actually be interested in gaming without blockchain technology, and you can be building in blockchain technology without trying to gamify it. And it's not necessary that they have to be completely intertwined. But then if you do want to engage in if you do want to be involved in GameFi projects, it's always best to go into a GameFi project that you will enjoy, play a game that you will enjoy, and possibly will retain some assets in the form of NFTs that can have some value if that game was to go to zero, or that game was to cease to exist. And if you're going into a game to try and invest your time or invest your resources, invest your money to try and gain a return, you should do your research, find out who the founders are, read the white papers, um, read the roadmap of the project, analyze the chain it's on, analyze the transaction activity, and make the right decisions. So yeah, that's that about that.
So I would say I hear everything you're saying. You know, the funny thing is everything you're saying is 100% true and is what I do for, potentially hours every day, but it's also a lot of work. And the average person does not want to do even a quarter or tenth of that. So this is why it's risk on.
Unfortunately,
Okay. There's no free lunch in the crypto space, right? Even if you want to get an airdrop, there is a lot of work to do oftentimes to get airdrops, okay? So you might have to do like a part-time job, of doing different transactions and bug bounties just to get an airdrop, which could definitely amount to, $10,000, $600. It's very possible when you think of things like what happened recently with Blur. That airdrop was pretty sweet for a lot for a
yeah,
lot of people. You look at stuff like Uniswap or
uh,
Optimism, you name it. There are lots of airdrops that have happened over the months, even days. I mean, just yesterday there was an airdrop for Collabland. A lot of us have used Collabland just to connect your Discord to your wallet or your Discord account to your wallet. That's like the digital ID, Web2 digital ID kind of integration through things like Collabland. So Collabland just did a drop, and yeah, for some people it was a few $100s. I wouldn't personally sell because I think there's still a lot, still, the bull run is still around the corner. So I think if it's $10 today, then it could be a few $100s in just a year's time. So I mean, you could sell it for $10, or you could wait. But I'm kind of
exactly.
going off, but I just had to kind of touch on what Elvis was saying, and I agree 100%. But man, oh man, we're just kind of painting a really difficult picture for the average person who wants to get into gaming. So I think that kind of brings me to the overall major point that I want to make in a certain way when it comes to gaming. Is there still a ways to go with the blockchain? Because a lot of times finances are key. That's why you have games where there's like no animation. It's just like random number generation going on. But the game economy is like $800 million. Like that is a real that's a real number. You have games like Mario, literally
Wow.
Mario, that don't make that much money. Okay. But you can have a blockchain game where there's just like a static picture on the screen and a token involved, and people can speculate and drive that market cap up to $800 million. Okay, this is a real story, and the game doesn't even have animations. So it's a very speculative space. I would be very cautious about any game you choose. But the biggest points as well, find something that you enjoy, especially if it means that you're going to put your money in, because at a minimum, at least you enjoyed the game, right? So get in early if you can. Good luck getting in early. Find something that you actually enjoy, and yeah, do your own research because it's really risky out there. Louis, what are your thoughts as we wrap up?
Well, yeah, so much has been said already. What I would just say is just like you said, do your research and make sure you don't you try as possible not to get wrong when you're investing in projects like this. But yeah, the space is still growing. There are lots of things that needs to be done. Currently. And yeah, lots of things, lots of persons still need to be aware of what is really happening in this particular space, right? Lots of persons needs to know that, okay, they can play to earn, right? And lots of persons still needs to understand that they can also invest in projects like this um, to earn some things, right? So there are lots of opportunities in the blockchain and also in the game space. When the both of them are coming together, the opportunities get to be multiplied, right? So if you're there and you're thinking about what to do next, definitely you should check it out, some research, and see how you can grow also in this space. Just like Mr. Evis said, it's good to start early while it's still growing, right? One of the mistakes most persons I've actually interviewed lots of big names in the tech space in Nigeria, Africa, because I'm currently in Nigeria. And one major question I ask them is this. I always ask them this question, like, if you were to go back in time to fix a particular thing, what would you do? Most of them, they always say, I wish I knew about this and could start it on time, right? So the best time to start was yesterday. The next best time is today. So if you want to go into any of these spaces, you're free to learn about it, do your research, ask questions. Make sure you have mentors in this space, people you can look up to. You don't necessarily need to reach out to them formally, right? You can just follow them and get updates, right? There are lots of people in this particular space. So yeah, just do what you have to do, grow and earn. So, and that is all from me. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining this particular space. Special thanks to Mr. Elvis and also Mr. Justin, the COO of GameStar Exchange, and also the host, GameStar itself, that is being handled by Miss Esther and everybody, and also to our winners, Natashi and Ilya. Please, like I said, GameStar, somebody from GameStar Exchange would reach out to you and to follow you up on how you can redeem your gift card. So thank you. We would have another space coming up in about 2 weeks or thereabout. Make sure you tell somebody about the short trade app. Um, we have the best rate so far when it comes to gift card exchange and all that, and also your digital assets. Right. So thanks so much once again for being in this space and for being patient with us to learn and listen. And to Natashi and Elia for also earning while learning. Right. It's good morning, good evening, good night, depending on where you are from me and from GameStar Exchange. Thank you so much. So you can just, if you've not followed GameStar Exchange, please do that. Follow us to get more updates on current updates, projects we are working on about short trade apps, how you can position yourself in both the crypto, the blockchain, and also the gaming space. We have some other projects coming up, but yeah, we would make some announcements as we go by. So thanks so much, everybody, and God bless you. Yeah, take care.